Hello students. The study of biochemistry is very important in order to understand the biological process which are continuously going on in living systems. Today we are going to discuss about chemistry of carbohydrates. Introduction. A class of naturally occurring organic compounds contain the elements carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. The ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in these compounds is 2:1, which is similar to that of water, hence they named as carbohydrates, implies hydrates of carbon, since they contain equal number of carbons and water molecules, which is not strictly applicable to all. Some of non-carbohydrates like acetic acid, formaldehyde, lactic acid, inositol have hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio 2:1. Rhamnose. A carbohydrate has hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio 12:5. Its molecular formula is C6H12O5. Higher carbohydrates like oligosaccharides, polysaccharides contain more number of carbon atoms than water molecules. They are distributed in plants and animals and perform wide range of functions. Number 1. Storage function. Starch in plants, glycogen in animals are in the storage form. Number 2. Structural forms or structural function. Cellulose in plants, mucopolysaccharides in animals. Next, dietary fiber. Cellulose, agar, pectins are required for the movement of bowel in proper digestion. Number 4. Nucleic acids. The conformational flexibility of the sugars ribose and deoxyribose is important in storage and expression of genetic information. Number 5. Carbohydrates play a role in lubrication, cellular intercommunication and immunity. Number 6. Carbohydrates are the components of glycoproteins and glycolipids present on cell surface. 7. Detoxification. Glucuronic acid is involved in the detoxification of benzoic acid and bilirubin. Definition. Carbohydrates may be defined chemically as aldehyde or ketone derivatives of polyhydroxy alcohols. Naturally occurring carbohydrates may be aldoses or ketoses. Sugars having aldo group are called aldoses. The names of the sugars have suffix "ose". Examples: glucose, galactose, mannose, ribose, xylose, etc. Sugars having keto group are called ketoses. Except fructose, the names of other sugars have suffix ulose. Examples: fructose, ribulose, xylulose, etc. Classification. Earlier, the carbohydrates are classified as sugars and non-sugars. Sugars. They are sweet to taste, soluble in water, Example: glucose, fructose, sucrose, etc. Sugars are two types depending upon the reducing property. Reducing sugars: presence of free aldehyde or keto group and produce NADIOLs in alkaline medium. Example: all monosaccharides, a few disaccharides like lactose, maltose, etc. Non-reducing sugars: absence of free aldehyde or keto group. Example: sucrose, tehlose. Non-sugars: tasteless, amorphous, partially soluble in water. They produce monosaccharides or disaccharides on hydrolysis with dilute acids. Examples: starch, inulin, dextrin, etc. Carbohydrates are also classified into three groups: monosaccharides, oligosaccharides, polysaccharides. Monosaccharides: they are simple sugars, possess a single unit of aldehyde or keto group. They are further classified into different subgroups depending upon the number of carbon atoms. Trioses: 3 carbon sugars, glyceraldehyde, dihydroxyacetone. Tetroses: erythrose, erythrulose. Pentoses: ribose, ribulose. Hexoses: 6 carbon sugars, glucose, fructose. Heptose: 7 carbon sugars, glucoheptose, pseudoheptulose. Oligosaccharides: they yield 2 to 10 monosaccharide units of same or different type on hydrolysis with dilute acids. If they yield same type of monosaccharides are named as homodisaccharides. Example: maltose. It is made up of glucose and glucose joined together by 1,4-glycosidic bond. Isomaltose, containing glucose and glucose joined together by 1,6-glycosidic bond. If they yield different type of monosaccharides known as heterodisaccharides. Example: sucrose, contains glucose and fructose joined together by 1,2-glycosidic bond. Lactose is a milk sugar which contains galactose and glucose joined together by beta-1,4-glycosidic bond. If they yield same monosaccharides, homopolysaccharides. Example: starch, inulin, dextrins, glycogen, cellulose, etc. If they yield different monosaccharides are known as heteropolysaccharides. Example: agar, gum, pectins, glycosamine glycans or mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides are present in animal tissue as structural units. They contain repeating units of amino sugars and uronic acids. They are partially combined with proteins as mucoproteins or mucoids. Example: heparin, chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, dermatan sulfate, keratin sulfate, blood group polysaccharides. The summary of this part is arranged as a flow chart to understand the students easily and recognize the classification in a proper way. Thank you.